complete teams. And an England team who finished 8th last year, anxious to do something about it. It's a good England team, Tim Hutchins and David Lewis, Dave Clark and Steve Binns, Mick McLeod, Tony Milosorov, Bob Treadwell and Andy Wilton. Against them, strong teams from the United States of America, from Portugal, and especially from Kenya and from Ethiopia, who have dominated this race for the past 5 years. And we saw in the junior race earlier today how there were 10 Africans in the first 11 runners. Tremendous spread in this international cross-country, and really it's been of enormous benefit to the third world, who are producing athlete after athlete, many of them who have the advantage of living at altitude, but many of them overcoming the disadvantage of the third world who do not have sophisticated facilities. David Lewis just across your picture there, right in the vanguard. And the Ethiopian team, their red vest. John Tracy, the mudlark there, one of the favourites. He's my favourite for today. But Brendan Foster seems to think that Alberto Cova of Italy might run well on these muddy conditions.
Well, I would imagine yesterday when both Cova and Tracy came to see the course, Cova would have gone away happier than John Tracy because it was dry and sunny. But they've come back today and it's been raining all morning. There's Alberto Cova there, who's in really good shape, but when he saw the mud, he wasn't so happy. It's also cold, and sometimes people like Alberto Cova don't like the cold. So it's tough conditions, but a really exciting race ahead.
Away they go, a rather disappointing start with some on the left getting left just a little bit. Not quite certain that the starter was getting them all away, but they're off and running. They run one small lap plus 4 large laps, and of course the men's race is over 12 kilometres, 7.5 miles, somewhat less than the British National, which is over 9 miles, but the conditions approaching something like a British cross-country, as you'll see when they get to the hills. Enough mud and a few small hills for them to feel that this is real cross-country, and certainly the temperature low enough for them to feel that they're in the middle of winter, that spring hasn't yet started.
Well, Ron, often in the men's senior race here, you find the first couple of 100 metres, like 400 metres or so, which is a bit too quick, because you get people who really have got no intentions of leading later in the race, getting up there just because of enthusiasm. And what I would expect to find are the top athletes, the real contenders, will be just 10 yards or 15 yards. There's Alberto Cova there, right in the position I was expecting him to be, just off the lead, because you don't want to get carried away. You don't want to go too quick, because it's a 7.5-mile race.
Well, let's give them some numbers to look at. First of all, the England team, a little chauvinistic perhaps, but they are a stronger team than last year. Steve Binns wears 60, David Clark 61, Tim Hutchins 62, Dave Lewis just gone through your picture wearing 63, Mick McLeod 65, Tony Milosorov 66, Bob Treadwell 67, Andy Wilton 68. Some of the more favoured runners, John Tracy of Iron, the mudlark, he wears 58, Alberto Cova of Italy in blue 150, one of the top Americans, Pat Porter 310, but of course look for the Africans. Bekele Debele of Ethiopia wears 80. Mohamed Kadir wears 82. Fernando Mamidi of Portugal, the world record holder at 10,000 metres, he wears 237. And we're told that the Ethiopians have come up with another surprise man. Look out for an unknown Ethiopian at 20 years of age, Haji Bulbul, wearing 78. Good enough to beat their seniors at home. And there he was, he's just gone through the picture. Haji Bulbul wearing 78. The Deacon Stello's just gone through. Mamidi's just gone through the picture. The Kenyans beginning to show. Look out for Kip Koech, who was runner-up last year.
Well, the pace is beginning to settle down now. They've slowed up an initial burst over the first 400 metres or so, and you can see that the contenders starting to pick their line and start to aim for their positions. You can see the American Pat Porter, who's got real ambition for this race, just moving through nicely there on the outside, number 310 in the red vest. But in pole position there, just off the lead where I expected to see him, was Alberto Cova, who would have been a lot happier with the conditions as they were yesterday, but unfortunately they are a little bit like British cross-country conditions. And you see Tony Milosorov and Dave Lewis from Britain and Tim Hutchins in the lead, and the British boys aren't unused to these conditions. both underfoot conditions and weather conditions. So I expect the conditions to favour the